Today, me and my friend Sword challenged ourselves to survive 100 days in a hardcore Minecraft world as a duo, but with one twist. We are playing in the new 1.17 version. But before we start, only a small percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, and these videos take a really long time to make, so please consider subscribing. My birthday is at the end of March, and if we could reach 50,000 subscribers by then, it would mean the world to me. Also, be sure to check Sword out, and if we get 30,000 likes on this video, we will be making a part 2. But without further ado, let's start with day 1. It has been quite a while since I started a fresh new world. I am up to almost 500 days on my hardcore world, so it was really cool to start a fresh world. We of course grabbed the basics, wood and some stone. And as much as I like spruce wood, we agreed that we would live somewhere else. So we built a boat and sailed off. We found a plains biome and decided to get off here. And it was getting dark already, so we spent most of the first night in a cave. Here we mined for stone and coal and cooked our pork chops. We also looked around for some iron but didn't find any. I did find a giant cave but was way too scared to head inside. I was way too vulnerable at this point and I wasn't going to risk it. Instead of playing it safe and staying in the cave for the rest of the night, we decided to leave. Luckily we didn't get ambushed by too many mobs, but it still was kind of terrifying. As we were running, it turned to day 2. We headed into a desert in hopes of finding a village and maybe a temple. And that we did. We came across a village pretty quick. We grabbed hay bales and whatever else we could find. This was really helpful because now we had a load of food. We also grabbed beds because they can be pretty helpful to sleep through the nights. After raiding 2 villages, we found a temple. The loot here was pretty good. We got some horse armor, some enchanted books, and Sword even got diamonds. I was pretty jealous of this, I'm not gonna lie. After all of the loot we were able to find in the desert, we decided to move on because no one wants to live in a desert biome. So we found this really cool area by a jungle and a flower forest, which have to be 2 of the coolest biomes. And yes, I must say, Sword is a pretty romantic guy. Of course, we started setting up our things with one little measly chest and a crafting table. You guys have to remember, we are playing in a 1.17 snapshot, meaning that the caves in this world are insane. There was no way I was going to strip mine, so I searched all over our land for a cave until I found one. Here I was able to get a ton of coal, which is always needed, and I found my first veins of iron. At first, I didn't recognize it because of the changed 1.17 textures. I still don't know how I feel about this change. Oh, and this stuff is copper, and I have absolutely no idea what I can do with it. I was hoping I could make some armor, but no, that wasn't happening. I spent quite a while mining and got a good amount of iron. Then I came back to our, I guess you can call it a base, and smelted the iron and enjoyed the sunset over the jungle. I was definitely going to head in there tomorrow. The first thing I did when I woke up was run straight into the jungle. Sword and I went in together, but quickly split up because we were both really excited. Of course, I grabbed a bit of jungle wood, even though it isn't my favorite wood. I also was pleasantly surprised to get some cocoa beans, melons, and bamboo. I'm pretty sure that bamboo and melons can be kind of hard to find, so I was really stoked that I got them this early in the game. I spent a load of time aimlessly running through the jungle today. We wanted to start building, and to do so, we needed materials. So day 5 was just a material gathering day. Honestly, I just mined for stone the entire day. Pretty interesting, I know. Most of days 6 and 7 were spent building my house. I wanted something that looked nice but wasn't too big. And of course, I needed to show Sword that spruce is the best kind of wood, because it is. So I built with a load of spruce wood. Although I must say, his oak wood house looks pretty fire. Sword is a much quicker builder than I am, so he was able to move on to different things before I was. While I was doing all of this building, he decided to grab some villagers from the nearby village. And eventually, I did run out of spruce wood. So I went on a little trip to get some. And then I was back to building, and eventually, on day 11, I finished my house. I know this took me 6 days. I am sorry. I need to get better at building quicker. I decided to take a break from all the building I had been doing over the last 7 days, and I went mining. Finally, I was able to get myself some diamonds. This was my first time seeing the new 1.17 caves, and I was pretty shocked. I could not believe how different it was. There was so much deep slate, and it just looked so cool. It's kind of like a mix between blackstone and stone bricks. I also really want to find some amethyst shards because then we can make spy glasses. But I do have to say, I really have been enjoying the new world generation. And diamonds are so much easier to find. Sword and I also found a mine shaft, and we were very cautious going into it, and actually didn't get too much loot from it. The few minecart chests that we found had some name tags and other random things in them. I also made a pretty risky decision in getting this diamond that was really deep underwater. On day 16, I smelted all of my iron and gold. And with my 27 diamonds, I made a full set of armor. I didn't have much XP, but I wanted to enchant. So I got some basic enchants on my sword, pickaxe, and got prot 1 on all of my armor. Of course, I'm going to upgrade this later, but this will do for now. For the rest of day 16, I did a bit of light farming. Sword and I remembered of a jungle temple that we found the other day next to our base, but hadn't raided yet. So the first thing we did today was head over to it. The loot was okay, but there wasn't much of it. After raiding the temple, I decided to get some materials to build the villager's house, and Sword was getting villagers. If you guys want to see Sword's perspective on things, make sure to go check out his video. All the links to that will be down below in the description. I gotta say, Sword really took one for the team here by getting these villagers. The next few days were spent doing a load of various different things, like loads of material grabbing and building. I needed a lot of wood and stone, and it just took forever to get all of the materials. I also had to go find sand because, of course, I wanted some windows in this house. I wasn't that inhumane, don't worry guys. Sword and I take really good care of these villagers. On day 21, Sword and I bred our first villagers together. Okay, I worded that a little weird. But yes, we moved 2 villagers into the villager house, or should I say Sword moved 2 villagers into the villager house, and we bred them. Any Minecraft world needs loads of villagers if you want to succeed. There's no other way to say this. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but these villagers don't know how to lay on beds properly. And on day 22, I came up with the awesome invention of the bread dispenser. It was getting annoying having to break through the window to give them bread so that they could breed, so I made a bread dispenser, and let me just say, this thing worked like a charm. We also decided to make a very tiny makeshift wheat farm right outside of the house, and Sword made a little area where only the baby villagers can go. So this would make it really easy to transport them out of the breeder. And day 23, we finally made it to the Nether. I must say, our spawn is pretty bad. This is my least favorite biome in the Nether. I really hate the basalt deltas. Luckily, we weren't ambushed by too many magmas. The main goal of this trip was to get XP, and we were hoping to find a fortress, but we searched for a long time. We also did a little bit of trading with piglins, but I didn't get anything good. Sword was pretty lucky and was able to get some fire res potions, which we started to use, and I don't know why Sword did this, but he jumped off of this cliff into lava, and then I decided to follow him. We were swimming through a lava lake. I don't know why we would do this in hardcore Minecraft, but it was pretty fun. And eventually we came across a warped forest, which Endermen spawn in, so we decided to stop here to get a ton of ender pearls. This took all day. Oh, and the danger doesn't stop there. As we were bridging across a lava lake, a ghast fired a fireball and almost killed Sword. He would have fallen into this lava lake and been done for. I literally don't know how he dodged this, but we got so lucky. And on day 25, we were still running around aimlessly looking for a fortress. We did find a broken portal with some random stuff in it, and then we ran out of food. This was really bad. Luckily for me, Sword knew where he was going, so we were able to navigate out of the Nether. And then our portal led us somewhere else. We were really worried that it was far away, but luckily it was just under our base. I was very happy to sleep in my bed this night. Since we were out of food, day 26 was spent farming for more food, and of course doing some breeding with villagers and trying to move them. We wanted to be able to buy enchants with them very quickly, so we spent a lot of time with them. And of course, I needed to run back to the forest to get myself some spruce wood. I really should bring back some saplings. I spent a bit of time on day 27 mining, but literally did not find anything good. I think the 1.17 update will completely kill strip mining. Today, Sword started building another villager house where we could keep our librarians. Of course, this was built out of oak, but he made it look pretty cool. We both spent a bit of time moving some villagers and building today. My job was to build a farmer's area, and being the noob I am, I built it out of barrels, so all the villagers were going to think that they were fishermen. I had to swap it out, but I didn't really know what to use, so I improvised and just put composters there. I know this is a little interesting looking, but it works. I was honestly going to change this out because I don't know how I feel about this block, but I decided to keep it. Day 30 was a painful day, one of just moving villagers. Sword and I both needed to move villagers into the library area and the farming area. The farmer villagers are what's going to make us loads of emeralds, and the librarians are essential to get some good enchants. But god, do I hate moving villagers. Day 31, all I did was plant carrots. I'm serious, that's all I did today. I wanted to start making emeralds from my villagers as soon as possible, and these guys wanted to buy carrots from me, so I had to set up a farm. And the entire time I was doing this, I was pretty sad about not having potatoes. So on day 32, Sword and I set out to the village to look for some potatoes. We've really ransacked this village. I figured it would be a little while before we had loads of carrots and potatoes to trade. So I chopped down the worst wood in Minecraft, birch, crafted them into sticks, and traded them to the Fletcher in the village. This has got to be the best way to make emeralds. I was way too excited to get my first few emeralds. Yes, we were still moving villagers the next few days. This takes a while. I realized that I should probably focus on getting some Fletchers over farmers, so I started moving some. And this guy doesn't have the most luxurious living situation, he kinda lives in a dirt hut. But he's made me 31 emeralds today. I also spent some time expanding the farm. And on day 34, I had enough crops to level up my farmer by trading. And of course, I expanded the farm some more, bred some more villagers with bread, and I started making a melon farm. Sword and I are world-class farmers. We wanted to upgrade our cow and sheep living situations. So on day 35, we took down their pen and took 2 cows and 2 sheep and put them in my house. Let me just say that Sword took care of the rest. Just like he took care of this wandering trader and the 2 llamas. This guy is on a killing rampage. Kinda scared to have him as my neighbor. But yes, these cow and sheep just kinda lived in my house for a few days while I built their barn. It was kinda nice to have some company. While the cow and sheep were living in my house, I started on their new home. Of course, just like with any build, this one took me a while. And while I was doing this, Sword was farming loads of bamboo and getting super rich off of the villagers. He also was working to get us some enchants. While I was getting some more wood, I discovered this insanely cool area. I had to call Sword over to check it out because it was just so cool. I think we're gonna have to build something over here at some point. It's literally like a floating island with an underwater ravine. For the rest of the day, I chopped down some more trees and built the cow pen up some more. I also farmed some carrots, of course. This barn was going to be pretty large, so I needed a lot of oak wood. And day 39 was just spent building the roof. Even though the barn wasn't finished, I was able to move all the animals inside and start breeding them. And soon the roof would be done. Today, I woke up to a creeper. Luckily, I didn't die. Gosh, I hate creepers so much. We really need to light up our land. But do we ever end up doing that? No. Today, I added some more stuff onto the barn. I tried to make it look as nice and homey as possible. I'm not exactly sure what happened on day 42, but I heard an explosion and stepped outside, and Sword looked like he was in a bit of a pickle. A creeper had just blown up the corner of his house and he was still being attacked by mobs. But do we ever light up our land? No, we never get to that. I sure do love making emeralds off of these villagers. While I was doing this, Sword was trying to get some villagers with good enchants like sharpness. And he also was setting up a massive sugarcane and bamboo farm, which makes getting sticks to trade Fletchers very easy. I swear, creepers just never leave me alone. It was day 43, and we needed some action, so we decided that we would start preparing to do a raid. I spent a lot of time trading with villagers to try to get some enchants today, and to make my emeralds, I was farming wood to make into sticks. An XP farm would have really come in handy over these next days. I did a lot of enchanting, trying to get levels by killing random mobs, and I even tried to fish to get some XP, which I don't know why I did this. But yes, the next few days were just kind of enchanting, trading, and trying to get levels. And on day 46, we were just doing some last minute preparation for the raid. I made sure to have a shield, golden apples, a water bucket, and of course an enchanted bow. And of course I made one for Sword. We quickly found a pillager tower, but it didn't have a banner pillager, which we needed to get the bad omen effect. So we went adventuring for another tower. The next 2 days were just spent running around looking for one. And on day 50, we finally found another tower, but there were no pillagers. Finally, one of the banner pillagers spawned. We killed him, got the bad omen effect, and ran to the village. This raid kind of ended out of the blue. So we went back to get the bad omen effect again and had another quick letdown raid. We actually did a few raids unsuccessfully until we finally got one and got totems. Did you know that there are actually different levels of raids in Minecraft Java Edition? Meaning you can kill a raid captain multiple times to stack up the level of raid it will be. Both Sword and I haven't tried this before, but we kind of want to at some point. This was our first look into danger, and it was pretty scary. Lucky for us, the iron golems of the village were destroying pillagers. They didn't stand a chance. And of course, the bows really helped. We both got a ton of totems, which was very helpful. And on day 53, we traveled home with our loot and Hero of the Village effect. Day 54 was a day spent profiting. We both had the Hero of the Village effect. So naturally, we spent some time trading with villagers. If you guys don't know what this effect does, it basically makes all villager trades discounted. It's their way of saying thank you for completing the raid. I got mending for 11 emeralds and was able to put it on all of my armor. I will get it from my tools later on. After making some last minute emeralds, I was able to get an efficiency 5 book for 28 emeralds. I was kind of out of XP, so I'll put them on my tools later. I've been doing a load of farming recently because the main thing that I trade to villagers is carrots. So I thought today I would expand the farm. I got loads of wheat seeds, potatoes, and carrots, and built a farm down by the water. And I actually used this farm a ton over the 100 days. On day 56, I continued farming, and I had enough XP to put efficiency 5 on my axe. You might be wondering why I put it on my axe instead of my pickaxe, and that is because I need to cut down a load of logs so that I can make them into sticks to make even more emeralds. So I did a lot of log cutting today, and then I bred some animals. And on day 57, I chopped even more wood and got some bamboo. This is all to make into sticks, by the way. Days 58 and 59 were spent trading and getting a cartographer villager. The reason that Sword and I wanted one of these is because we can get a woodland mansion map, which is something that we definitely want to do soon. And of course, I did a load more farming today and trading to make emeralds so that I could buy some efficiency books. And then it was time to really start preparing to go to the mansion. Today, I crafted some golden apples, got a bunch of food and other supplies. I also saw this iron golem proclaiming his love to a villager. Look how sweet this is. I got loads of food because we're gonna be running for quite a while to find this mansion, and Sword spent a lot of time upgrading our villager today so that we could get a map. And then we both bought maps and went to sleep. The next morning, we left for the mansion. This was a really long journey. We did find a few villages along the way, which was pretty nice to get some extra food and random things here and there. But it took us so long to run out to this mansion, like a really long time. And finally, on day 69, we found it. We went into the mansion and slowly started killing pillagers and finding some random loot. Sword actually showed me this hidden room that I didn't know existed, and we got a lapis block from the head of this villager. This room is actually kind of scary, but it was super helpful to get lapis because with the new cave update, it's kind of hard to find. But eventually, we did complete the mansion and got all the loot. And then Sword and I decided to burn down the mansion. Yes, we seriously did this. This was kind of interesting, and it was cool to watch it burn down. I know this is a little terrifying. As we were traveling home, we found some dogs, and we tamed them. And then after traveling on some more, we realized that we had lost our dogs. Yes, we literally lost them. They didn't follow us across the ocean. So I decided to get another dog, and his name is Replacement. Yes, this might be a little harsh, but it's okay. I love Replacement very much. And on day 71, we made it home. It was really refreshing to do some more trading with our villagers and just be back in a nice, safe environment. Sword and I really wanted to get netherite soon. And the best way to do so is by getting beds into the nether and blowing the entire thing up. So today I did a lot of breeding sheep and cows and shearing them to get beds. By the end of the day, I had 1.5 stacks of wool. And on day 73, after a lot of wood cutting over the last few days, I needed to repair my axe. And since we don't have an XP farm, I did a bit of trading with villagers to get the XP so I could repair it. And from days 74 to 77, we went netherite mining. Although I had almost triple the amount of beds that Sword had, I got nowhere near as much netherite as him. These days were just unbelievably unlucky. Sword got so much ancient debris, I think he got around 40 pieces, and I only got these few. At least I was able to make myself a netherite sword at the end of the day. Sword even tried to help me look for some, but I guess I must have been a bad luck charm. This is the most unlucky I had ever been with netherite. On day 78, with our new netherite swords, we decided to get sharpness 5. So we had to spend some time with the librarian villagers, and while I was doing this, Sword decided to get a looting villager, and it actually worked out the other way around. He ended up getting a sharpness villager, and I got a looting villager. And sadly, I didn't have enough XP to put the enchants on, so we headed back into the nether, and Sword found a fortress. So we spent a little while in the nether getting XP and fortress exploring. I actually had a spark of good luck and got a load of diamonds from the chests in the fortress. And then we started looking for wither skeletons. Of course, we're going to be fighting the wither at some point soon, so we needed to find some skulls. And I was able to get 2 skulls, while Sword only got 1 with looting 3. Take that, buddy. I also spent some time getting XP because mending takes it all, and I want to put looting 3 on my sword. On day 81, I planted some nether warts that I got from the nether and brewed some potions. I got strength 2, speed, and did some other things to prepare for the wither. Day 82 was the wither fight. Since we're playing in a 1.17 world, we really wanted to fight this wither in one of the deep slate caves. So we went way underground and spawned in the wither. This thing was actually way harder than I remembered, and we had a bit of some struggles. I started losing a lot of health, and it almost seemed like the wither was targeting only me. Luckily, I had some golden apples, and we both had enchanted bows. The strength also really helped when I was able to get some sword hits on the wither. And finally, we killed it. We were both so excited to get this nether star and craft a beacon. And on day 83, I got a sharpness 4 book that I could combine with my sharpness 4 sword to get sharp 5. I did a lot of trading with villagers for some XP today as well. And yes, I'm running around with no armor on. That's because the mending takes all of the XP away from me. On days 84 and 85, I did so much trading with villagers. We need a lot of emeralds if we want to have this beacon active. Although we had just killed the wither, we were ready to move on to the ender dragon. So day 86 was a day spent preparing. I did a load of potion brewing, and I had enough XP finally to put sharpness 5 on my sword. While I was doing all of this, Sword was exploring our world, and he told me that he found a mushroom biome. So I quickly ran over to where he was, and it was pretty sick. Then we found a pillager tower, and we killed quite a few raid captains, and we didn't realize it at the time, but later on this is going to start a level 4 raid, which is going to be crazy. We also wanted to make spyglasses, so we found an amethyst cave, and let me just tell you, this is one of the coolest things in this update. Amethyst blocks make a really cool sound when you walk on them or break them. And day 89, we've returned back to our base and started a raid. This was literally so intense. Both Sword and I almost died in this raid. This was because we killed so many raid captains, so the bad omen effect kind of stacked up. Thankfully, we were able to come out on top this time, and we had a lot more totems. Day 90 was spent recuperating from the raid. I also crafted a spyglass with some amethyst and copper, and this thing is so neat. We had Hero of the Village 4, which gave us insane discounts, so we took advantage of this and did a ton of trading. The next day, on day 91, we left for the end. We had full inventories full of potions, totems, golden apples, water buckets, bows and arrows, and everything else that you could imagine. We were super prepared. It took us an unbelievable amount of time to find the portal. First, there was the struggle of finding the stronghold, which was difficult enough. And eventually, when we found the stronghold, we had to find the portal, which took way longer than anticipated. And because we used so many Eyes of Ender, we ran out. And then the luckiest thing ever happened. I opened up a chest and found an Ender Pearl. I was able to craft an Eye of Ender, and we jumped into the portal. Once we were here, some strange glitch happened where it looked like we fell into the void. We both were freaking out, but luckily it was just some lag. We climbed up and started to fight the dragon. This is a lot easier with 2 people. Sword was hitting some of the crystals from down below with his bow, and I started climbing a tower. From up here, I was able to bow off 2 or 3 other crystals super easily, but the dragon was not happy, and she was hitting me with dragon's breath. After we quickly destroyed all the crystals, it was time to kill the dragon. We landed lots of bow shots on her, and then when she landed, we got her with our swords. And then when the dragon died, we were showered in XP. Basically, all of our tools were repaired. We grabbed the dragon egg and went through the end gateway. It was time to find some elytras. Once we were through here, we actually split up. We both wanted to find some end cities. It took me a while, but I eventually came across one with an end ship. The first thing I did was tower up into the end ship and grab the elytra. I fought a few shulkers, but there weren't too many here. I also grabbed a little bit of loot, and then I raided the rest of the end city. Then I flew back to the end gateway, went through, and Sword and I ran through the portal. The portal took us back to the spawn of the world, which was kind of strange, but it was a nice journey back. And we were able to fly, which was one of the coolest things ever. This was the best flight, and Sword and I really enjoyed ourselves. Once we were home, we traded our villagers, bought enchants for our elytras, crafted rockets, and shulkers. And days 99 and 100 were spent farming and flying around with our elytras. Sword actually found a temple, and we flew over to it. The loot was really bad in here though. It was pretty much just bones and bamboo and other random things. So we flew back to our village and enjoyed our last day here. And that is how we survived 100 days in hardcore Minecraft 1.17 as a duo. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. If we get to 30k likes, we will film a part 2 to this video. Check out Sword down below in the description, and also be sure to check out some of my other 100 days videos.